Imagine putting on a custom tailor-made tuxedo every single night of your life just to have a 60-year-old real estate mogul from New Jersey scream at your face because a random piece of coated plastic didn't do what he wanted it to do. Welcome to the high-limit lounge of a Las Vegas casino. This is the only place on the face of the earth where you can watch someone lose the equivalent of a 4-bedroom suburban home while casually eating a chilled shrimp cocktail. And your entire job for the next 8 hours is to sit there and look perfectly professional and make sure nobody steals the forbidden plastic circles before you are even allowed to step foot onto the casino floor. You have to get dressed in a uniform that was engineered by corporate executives who clearly do not trust a single thing you do. Your trousers have absolutely no pockets. Your vest has absolutely no pockets. If the Gaming Commission could legally make you work wrapped in a sheet of clear industrial plastic, they probably would. The house operates on the foundational truth that human nature is deeply flawed, especially when surrounded by millions of dollars in untraceable cash. So you dress like a professional magician who is actively trying to prove to a hostile audience that he isn't hiding a live pigeon in his sleeves. Then you take a deep breath and walk out under the all-seeing eye in the sky. This isn't just a couple of standard security cameras hidden inside smoky glass domes on the ceiling. This is a multi-million-dollar digital network of facial recognition software, behavioral analysis algorithms, and high-definition lenses that can read the expiration date on your chapstick from 3 stories up. There is a man named Gary sitting in a dark, windowless room upstairs who hasn't blinked since the Clinton administration. Gary watches your cuticles in 4K resolution. If you have a sudden, agonizing itch on the tip of your nose, you don't just scratch it like a normal human being. You have to think about the tactical and legal implications of moving your arm toward your face. Every single time you leave the table, touch your clothing, or step away to grab a sip of water, you have to perform the ritual. You clap your hands together firmly to clear them. You turn your palms open toward the ceiling with your fingers spread as wide as possible. It looks like a beautiful, reverent gesture meant to honor the ancient gods of fortune and destiny. But really, it just translates to, "Please do not tackle me, Gary. I am just trying to wipe away a stray piece of dust." But managing the security cameras is nothing compared to the intense psychological warfare sitting across from you at the green felt. Once you survive the walk to your assigned table, you finally meet the whales. These are not regular vacationing gamblers who get incredibly excited about winning $100 or getting a free buffet voucher at the Players Club cage. These are people who view a $10,000 individual bet the same way you view buying a slightly nicer brand of paper towels. You are dealing baccarat or blackjack to people who own private islands, international shipping fleets, and professional sports teams. But the exact moment the cards start flying, all that accumulated wealth and corporate power completely evaporates, and you are left with a room full of highly funded toddlers. If you make a minor mistake at a standard corporate 9-to-5 job, you get a passive-aggressive email from human resources about maximizing corporate synergy. If I miscount a payout by a single chip in the high-limit parlor, the entire atmosphere shifts, like a cold front hitting a swamp. I have seen a man who controls a major portion of the global infrastructure industry throw a genuine temper tantrum because he drew a 7 instead of an 8. He didn't just sigh or shake his head in quiet disappointment. He banged his fists on the green felt like a child whose mother refused to buy him sugary marshmallow cereal at the grocery store. The sheer disconnect between their massive net worth and their emotional stability is a daily psychological experiment that you have front row seats for. They will look you dead in the eye and treat you like you are a personal, malicious representative of the cosmic forces of evil. When they win a hand, it is entirely because of their supreme intellect, unmatched business acumen, and dominant personality. When they lose a hand, it is because you, a 22-year-old math major from Ohio, used your telekinetic powers to alter the sequence of the deck. The superstitions in the high-limit room are a fascinating study in how fast human logic completely breaks down under financial pressure. In high-stakes baccarat, the players are actually allowed to touch bend and physically destroy the playing cards. This is the specific geographic zone where sanity goes to die. They don't just flip the cards over like a normal person playing. Poker at a kitchen table on a Friday night with his buddies. They bend them into tight little rolls. They squeeze the edges between their thumbs as if they are trying to extract juice from the paper. They blow on the plastic coating as if they are trying to perform life-saving CPR on the hidden numbers. They will slowly peel back the corner of a card, millimeter by millimeter, staring at the tiny pips like they are decoding ancient, alien hieroglyphs that hold the secrets of the universe. By the end of a single round of play, a pristine deck of custom-manufactured playing cards is completely ruined. It looks like it was chewed on by an aggressive golden retriever with a severe anxiety disorder. The casino throws away thousands of dollars worth of perfect cards every single day because a wrinkled card is considered drained of its luck. If a wealthy player is on a losing streak, they will look at the shoe, which is the plastic box holding the cards, as if it is a haunted artifact containing a malevolent demon. They will demand that you change the deck immediately. They will demand that you change your physical position at the table. They will ask you to use your left hand to deal instead of your right hand, because they think your right hand carries a negative financial aura. I once had a real estate mogul ask me to stop breathing so loudly because my exhalations were shifting the air currents around the table and ruining his cosmic flow. You just have to nod politely and apologize for your basic biological functions, because the customer is always right, especially when the customer is currently funding the casino's entire quarterly profit margin. You become the ultimate scapegoat for their bad math and terrible choices. They will look at a basic probability chart, completely ignore every single rule of logic, bet 100 grand on a vague gut feeling, and then blame your haircut when they lose everything. But you tolerate the complete collapse of human sanity because of the financial upside. In the casino world, tips are never called tips. They are called toques. And in the high-limit rooms, toques can turn a standard working-class salary into a ridiculous amount of money very quickly. Most regular dealers on the main floor pool their tips together at the end of the night. Every chip dropped into the tip box is split equally among everyone on the shift, from the roulette dealer to the blackjack rookie. It is a very safe, stable, semi-communist approach to casino life. But in the elite tier lounges, some joints run on a system called go for your own. This means whatever the player gives you is yours to keep, tax man permitting. This changes the entire dynamic of the job, from mechanical card dealing to high-stakes psychological performance art. Suddenly you aren't just a card-throwing machine. You are an actor, a therapist, a bartender without the drinks, and a professional best friend. A high-limit player who is running hot might randomly hand you a $5,000 chip just because they liked the specific rhythm of your voice. They will throw a purple chip at you like it is a piece of pocket lint they found in their old jeans. You have to master the art of the humble, deeply grateful thank you, while inside your brain you are calculating how. Many months of student loans, that single piece of plastic just covered. Of course, the absolute opposite is also true. A player who loved you 5 minutes ago and called you their lucky charm will turn into an absolute monster the second the cards go cold. They will look at you as if you personally walked into their house and stole their television. You have to constantly decide if your personal dignity is worth turning down a tip that could literally buy a used Honda Civic. To survive this intense environment for 8 hours straight, the casino implements a very strict schedule. You do not just sit at a table until your back gives out and your shift ends. The mental fatigue of calculating six-figure payouts under the gaze of angry billionaires and security cameras is too high. If you make a single math error, it can cost the house $250,000 before the pit boss can even put down his coffee. So high-limit dealers work on a strict, unyielding rotation. You spend exactly 40 minutes on the table, and then you get a mandatory 20-minute break. You rinse and repeat this process for your entire 8-hour shift. During those 20 minutes of freedom, you sit in a back room that feels like a Cold War fallout shelter, drinking terrible industrial coffee and staring blankly at the wall. Your brain is completely fried from the adrenaline of watching fortunes rise and fall in the span of a heartbeat. And your sleep schedule is completely annihilated from existence when you work the graveyard shift in Las Vegas. Your concept of time and standard human society disappears. You leave the casino floor at 5:30 in the morning. The sun is just coming up over the desert mountains, and normal citizens are jogging, drinking smoothies, or driving to their normal corporate jobs. Meanwhile, your version of breakfast is eating cold chicken wings in a, quote, dark room while watching infomercials for ladders at 6 a.m. Your social life shrinks down until you only interact with other casino employees because nobody else understands why you are wide awake and filled with existential dread at 3 in the afternoon. You become part of a Twilight Zone community that lives entirely in the shadows of the neon. Billboard lights? After 1,000 hours sitting behind that green felt, you start to see the Matrix. You realize that the players aren't actually gambling in the way they think they are. The math of the casino is absolute and unyielding. The house edge on baccarat or blackjack is a statistical certainty written into the fabric of reality over a long enough timeline. The player loss rate hits exactly what the computers predicted decades ago. So the billionaires aren't actually buying a chance to win more money. They already have more money than they can spend in 3 consecutive lifetimes. What they are actually buying is a fleeting feeling of control. In their normal corporate lives, everything is managed by boards of directors, legal teams, and public relations firms. But at the table, it is just them, the cards and the raw, unadulterated chaos of the universe. They are paying a premium price to feel alive for 10 seconds, while a piece of plastic flips over on the felt. And you are the one holding the mirror to their desperation. You aren't a glamorous purveyor of fortune or a character in a James Bond movie. You are a highly specialized retail clerk, handing out very expensive receipts for terrible decisions. So next time you see a movie where the casino dealer looks incredibly smooth, mysterious, and powerful, just remember the reality of the floor. Behind that calm, deadpan expression is a person who is desperately trying not to scratch their face, wondering if Gary is judging their cuticles from the ceiling, and hoping a drunk real estate mogul throws a purple chip at their head before the sun comes up. So what about you? Are you the type of player who treats the dealer like a human being? Or do you think my haircut is the reason you lost your rent money? Let me know down there.